not every school knew about apprenticeships, or they didn't push it enough, but we're working actively towards changing that. I've took a break from social media recently, just because I had too much going on in terms of my apprenticeship studies and my work life, and then I wanted to make sure I was giving enough time to my family as well. So don't feel like you can't pick anything up again. The key thing is looking after yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, you're not going to produce the best work, you produce the best content.
Welcome back to Being B. We're back again. As you know, I could not leave without finishing this conversation. So that's why we're going to continue this. And again, Kasim's back here. So I guess if you haven't seen the first part, make sure you go back and listen to that first. Listen to that, and that will, allow you to slowly transition into this, because all of what we're going to be talking about now will make so much more sense if you listen to part one. So I'll give you some time. Right now, the link will be down below. Make sure you click on the link, go and listen to part one, and then join us back here for the second part, whereby we're going to get into it. And this time we're going to really, really focus on Kasim's role. As you already know, Kasim is a marketing manager, and he's going to tell us a lot more about his current role right now. And just stay here, because I've not had enough of it, and I'm ready to hear some more. So I'm sure you're ready. Get ready. Let's get into it. So Kasim, we're back again, continue from where we left off. And as I said there, so far you've given me a lot of information, and I was like, this has to continue. We can't just end it there. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there who's going to definitely benefit from this, and the knowledge that you have is something that I personally want to benefit from, and I want others to also take away from this. So I guess going straight into it, I really want to focus now. I guess maybe just touch on a little bit about yourself being a father. You're also a husband, and we did touch on this a little bit in the first part of this episode, and I wanted to maybe speak just a little bit more about has it been like managing, a child, being a husband, having time for your wife, also working right now, because at the moment you're working as we've already said, a marketing manager. So just give us a little bit more about how that has been. How has it been being a father? What has that actually taught you? I don't know. Yeah. I'll just leave it to you.
No, for sure. So, honestly, like being a parent is just, it's life-changing, to say the least. There's so many different things, so many different challenges. No matter how much you prepare and research for being a parent, nothing will, prepare you for what's to come. In a positive way, there's a lot of learnings that you kind of come across, and it's life-changing, definitely right, life-changing. And also it gives you a new sense of gratitude for like your parents as well, and what everything they've gone through to kind of raise you. So it's been amazing. We had Layla when we were like in 2023. She was born in September 2023, and at the time I was working my full-time role as marketing manager at Workpace. I was also doing a bit of freelancing for some clients. Since having Layla, I kind of decided to prioritize family. Life changes constantly, and I think the key thing is you need to figure out what's important to you, and pick 3-4 things you want to focus on in a set year, and just kind of give it your all. Don't spread yourself out too thin. So that's what I did. I kind of let go of some of my kind of clients on the side and focused on making sure I was being the best dad, best husband I could be. And that's something I'm still trying to do to the best of my ability till this day, because we're not all perfect. And it's been amazing watching Layla grow up, and it's been great having that flexibility of having my weekends back, having my evenings back to take them out to spend time with them. And fatherhood, it's amazing, but like it changes your perspective, and it just it's a feeling I can't even describe really. But just grateful for being a father and for having an amazing wife to raise my child as well. And yeah, with work, like we spoke a little bit about my job. I work as a marketing manager at Workpace, so kind of growing in my career as a marketing manager, it's less. Although I still do tactical stuff, on the ground stuff, whether that's drafting social media posts, creating the graphics, things like that. But it can be, and it is very strategic as well. So I can come up with marketing strategies, campaign planning, briefing the kind of team members that I work with within my team on what to do. And it's kind of like you're steering the ship as well, and you're kind of looking where you want to go. And there are people within the team that are actually like implementing the projects that you've created and the marketing plans and the tactics that you've advised on. And it's about coaching my team and making sure that I'm getting the best out of them, but equally they're benefiting from the role and becoming better professionals, but also better people in their lives as well. um yeah, a day to day of mine can look anything like, I mean, my job is very varied, so it can look anything like one day I might be working on the website, making some updates, creating some new landing pages for a campaign. The next day I could be creating social media posts or actually visiting a client or a staff member to capture some photography or videography, doing a bit of editing, that side of things. Another day I could be doing some copywriting, creating blog posts, materials, things like that. So, and then another day I could be doing paid ads. So it's extremely varied. It can get very techy, but then it can get very creative as well. And I think for me, I like having that mix, and that's why digital marketing was kind of the way I wanted to go down. But actually, outside of my main job, I wear quite a few hats. So in addition to promoting Workpace and the apprenticeships they offer, and the courses and all the different ways they support people into work and upskilling in their career, I also have a voluntary role as an apprenticeship ambassador for the Department of Education's Apprenticeship Ambassador Network, which kind of runs across the country. There's different regional networks, so I'm actually part of the East Midlands Apprenticeship Ambassador Network because that's where my employer is based, and it's an amazing group of very talented apprentices like myself, former apprentices, current apprentices. And what that gives us the opportunity to do is we go into schools, we go into jobs fairs, careers fairs, and we talk about apprenticeships and how great they are, and how our journey doing our own apprenticeships have supported us. But that also gives us a really good opportunity to go to certain events. So like we got invited to go to the House of Lords event, an event in the House of Lords, which has been amazing, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity otherwise. We also got invited to loads of social get-togethers. So occasionally, like our network coordinators, they'll organize like a get together in Nando's or somewhere like that, and everything will be paid for. So it's really nice. It's a really nice way if you're an apprentice and you're feeling like you're missing out on that uni life. Join the Apprenticeship Ambassador Network that's in your region, because you will have the opportunity to make friends for life there. You'll have the opportunity to inspire other people, to inspire the young people that wish they had someone like you to kind of tell them, okay, this is how it's going to be like. And then you'll also get some amazing benefits of like having to attend the House of Lords. I know some of my colleagues have even got a chance to like go to 10 Downing Street and stuff, so it's been amazing. um Thankfully, with all the stuff that we've done, we've managed to engage so many schools. I think we've engaged almost every school in this country now, not us in particular, but as a network.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
one of the issues I think I said to you in the last episode was that not every school knew about apprenticeships or they didn't push it enough. But we're working actively towards changing that. So in addition to my main job, I have my voluntary role as an apprenticeship ambassador. But then also that's inspired me to kind of make my own content that helps educate people on marketing, on and digital marketing in particular, on apprenticeships, and just on general careers advice and financial advice. So yeah, I kind of do those three things in addition to like the parenting, the family side, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's very full on, but when you do something you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work, and it's all great.
Yeah. And I mean, have there ever been times where you thought, "Oh my goodness, this is a lot. I need to either put this on the side or focus a little bit more on this or take a break." Has there ever been times where you've kind of thought that, and
Yeah.
and it's kind of been a lot at once.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember no matter who you are, at the end of the day, you're also human, and you'll need time to like take a break sometimes, and you don't want to burn yourself out. I mean, we're all guilty of it, right? And I think the key thing is recognizing when you've maybe doing a bit too much and just like giving yourself time to like relax a bit. Um, I've took a break from social media recently, just because I had too much going on in terms of my apprenticeship studies and my work life, and then I wanted to make sure I was giving enough time to my family as well. So I took a break from social media. Is it something that I wanted to do at the time? No, absolutely not. I wanted to keep going, but then I'm actually glad looking back now that I took a break. So you're not always going to be kind of on everything all at
Yeah.
once, and it's okay not to be. I think it's important to realize your own limitations. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'd say. Just like don't feel like you can't pick anything up again. The key thing is looking after yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, you're not going to produce the best work, produce the best content. So yeah, that's important.
I can definitely get on board with that. Definitely. Wow. So if I understand correctly, you're currently studying alongside doing your apprenticeship?
So my an apprenticeship is essentially studying whilst you're working.
Okay.
So my job role, I was still a marketing manager before my apprenticeship studies, but I had two
Yeah.
options. Do I pay like I did previously for a self-funded style kind of qualification, a level 6 CIM? So you guys will have something similar in law, like with your professional body, you'll have like a level 6 qualification that you can do,
Yeah.
and you can pay to do that, and you do it like in the evenings, after work, and but you won't get any time during work for it, and you will have to pay out of your own pocket.
Mm.
Or do I do an apprenticeship where I'll get zero, like it won't cost me anything, and my employers will actually pay me same wage I'm getting now to for 20% of my job time to be dedicated towards my studies. So I'll still have to study. Like what I find is that especially at higher levels of degree apprenticeships, you still have to sometimes study outside of the 20%, because the 20% doesn't always cover it, because there's like a lot of chapters and books and assignments and videos and podcasts you need to watch. Um, but it does count towards a big chunk of that. Like, yeah, and it definitely does help. Like, I would rather have a day a week during my work hours than not have any and having to fit that day across the entire week, especially when you've got a family and stuff. So apprenticeships are great, not only for when you're like starting in a new career, but when you're wanting to upskill. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that they think apprenticeships are just for school leavers. Apprenticeships are for everyone. So you can do it when you finish school, or if you want to change careers, or if you want to like be, kind of get a promotion or become a higher, like in whatever you're doing, a higher job role in whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with your role, you mentioned something about dealing with paid ads. Just an interest of mine. How does that work? Is this with like social media posts? Because some of them, I'm sure there are like laws and regulations around how that works. So what is it? How are you involved in that? How does what do you do in
Yeah.
terms of that?
So digital marketing has multiple specialisms within that. So like there's SEO, so search engine optimization, which essentially means you're like at the top of the page rankings when someone searches your name on Google. There's PPC, which is pay per click ads. So that's kind of like what we were talking about a little bit. So again, kind of like when you search something on Google, but you're paying to be there, right? So there's paid ads, there's graphics, there's photography, there's so much on the digital marketing. But I guess if we're looking for, like, if we're focusing our attention towards paid ads specifically, people have jobs where they're just focusing on paid ads, or they're just focusing on SEO. So paid ads in particular is where you advertise on, say, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any sort of social media platform, and you're paying for people to click on your adverts. And so it's kind of like it's a better way of doing like billboard ads. So if you walk past and say you're a company, right, and you want to promote the Being Bee podcast,
Yeah.
firstly, billboards will cost you a hell of a lot of money, like to run for 2 weeks, a grand, 2 grand, whatever,
For how long?
for maybe 2 weeks or something.
Wow.
And that's like at a minimum, like, that's the minimum you'd be paying. But the thing is, if you say run a Facebook ad, or like a TikTok ad, you can make a TikTok, and then you could target that TikTok to people that have an interest in financial education or in like career advice and of a certain age that are in a certain area geographically. So it's very
Mm.
specific, and then you can see how many people have clicked on that as well. So you're actually only paying A, it costs you a lot less, and B, you could track it a lot better and you could reach your target audience a lot quicker. Um,
Mm.
and there's no third party you have to get involved. Like, yeah, if you're advertising on TikTok, you'll need to get TikTok involved, but they
Yeah.
have like an ads platform which you can use and pretty much get the ad running, within, I don't know, a day, 2 days, or something like that. Compared to a billboard, which will take time to design, then you need to send it over to the printers, and then they need to print it out, and they need to book it in. It's a lot more. So paid ads are a great way to get short-term sort of attention to your business or whatever it is you're trying to promote.
Mm.
But what we say is longer term, you're better off using SEO and doing stuff like this, organic content, where you can really
Yeah.
push out and build your brand and be a leader in whatever it is you're saying.
Mm. Is that why, like, when I don't know if this is correct, like on Instagram and stuff, if like someone posts something that is paid, they would put the ad thing either on their
Yeah.
story or in the
So
caption.
that's called influencer marketing, and that's really interesting. So influencer marketing is, say, for example, I'll use this as an example. So you have a podcast. This podcast is bringing in, like, I don't know, 2,000 listeners every week, right? And so all of a sudden, the people that you're targeting this podcast to are people that are interested in law, right? And
Mm.
and all of a sudden, what other businesses that are targeting your same target audience will say, actually, hang on, you're getting the same sort of people we want to buy our product. So actually, do you mind? We'll pay for you to have our own like bottles or drinks or whatever. Do you mind just having them on your table in your
Yeah.
podcast, and then they'll give you a commission fee or something like that. um yeah, and it's the same sort of way of like how influencers might work when they're promoting something. We're like, hey guys, this is the product I've used.
Yeah. You
And
see.
and some of it is good if it's authentic and
Yeah.
they are genuinely using the product, but some of it's not so great. So yeah, without going into too much of a tangent, there was a really like famous funny case where I think it was like the actor who plays Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. She was promoting a Samsung phone, but then when she posted on Twitter, she was promoting a Samsung phone, like, "Oh, get the new Samsung, it's amazing." And then underneath Twitter, it said like posted from an iPhone. So it didn't go down too well. So I think influencer marketing is great
Yeah.
when it's done authentically and when there's a genuine interest.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for me to push university like for everything if my content didn't relate to that and I genuinely didn't really
Yeah.
was interested in university. Like, so yeah, it just
Mm.
depends.
Yeah. I see that a lot as well, actually, especially on Snapchat. You see influencers posting things, and it comes across as well. You can tell that this person has decided to promote this product because they're just simply getting paid for it. They have no sort of interest in the product. They've never used it before, or it's just a lot of things. And it's like you've got an audience who are influenced by a lot of the things that you do, and this will just take us into another tangent, but we'll not go into
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I guess there's just one more thing before we kind of wrap everything up, because again, there's a lot we can go into. Um, I want to talk about National Apprenticeship Week. I know that happened early this year. It was around February, right?
Yeah.
Um, can you just tell me a little bit about this? Because I know, especially right now, I've got younger siblings myself, who, are kind of like at a stage where they're looking at, do I go to university? Because if see me go to university, and it's like, do I want to? Do I not? My parents, especially, are a lot more understanding now than before. And it's not like, oh, when you grow up, you have to go to university. They're a lot more open to other things, whether that's just go straight into work. So I kind of have an idea of what that is, but I know you was at an event. It was earlier this year. How is that, and what essentially is it for anyone who doesn't
Yeah,
know?
so National Apprenticeship Week occurs in February. This year, I didn't, it was kind of around the time I took a break from social media, but last year and the years before that, it's always been a super busy week for us because at Workbase, we run something called the Big Assembly, which is a national live stream that basically has over like 180,000 viewers across the country. And that's like school students in secondary schools, your careers advisors, your parents, teachers, and we partner with like loads of different employers from like Coca-Cola to like JLR to Accenture, to so many different employers, right? So it was a really good like side project at Workpace where we got to team up with loads of different big brands that people know that we've all heard of, and they like are kind of invited on a panel. And what happens is during National Apprenticeship Week, on the Tuesday of National Apprenticeship Week, we used to invite them on the panel like an apprentice from these three different companies, and we used to invite an employer from an apprentice of a company. So we did like JCB one year, the big yellow digging
Yeah.
company, and we had like the head of HR there, and he was basically talking about like how they see apprenticeships as really important and how they hire apprenticeships and apprentices. And then the apprentices themselves from different companies, they were like of different backgrounds with studying different levels of apprenticeships in different areas, so they weren't all just JCB apprentices, and they gave an insight into all of that. So the Big Assembly is a great resource to watch. I know it's ended now, but it's still worth watching. Going on their website bigassembly.org and watching all the previous kind of big assemblies that occurred during then. There's plenty of other events that go on during National Apprenticeship Week. If your siblings are still in school or sixth form, the school, generally most schools now get involved in National Apprenticeship Week, so they might have like an apprenticeship fair. And if your school doesn't have an apprenticeship fair, your area or the council or someone in that kind of region will be hosting like an apprenticeship fair during the National Apprenticeship Week. So my advice would be go down, check it out, see what you're interested in, see if there's anything that you enjoy. And also, if you are interested in apprenticeship, just remember they're not really bothered about your qualifications at to a level. Like what they're looking for is your passion and your dedication, because like you, everyone else like will have done just GCSEs right at that level as soon as you finish in school. So as long as you've got decent GCSE grades, your passion is what's going to stand out. So like maybe you have a side project, maybe you're interested, like me for example, I did digital marketing. Before applying to that digital marketing apprenticeship, I was already doing like a side hustle thing for my for someone that I knew. I made them a website and was doing a bit of social media marketing for them. And so when I was in my interview, they said to me, what examples of work have you got? And I said, well, because I'm really interested in this career, I've already done this sort of stuff, and it shows dedication and enthusiasm, and that's what they love. That's what they're looking when they're hiring young talent.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I feel like I could honestly just, there's so many questions I want to ask, but we're just limited with time. Um, Before we kind of wrap everything up, I just want to just do something, okay? I don't know if this is something you've ever truly sat down and thought about yourself and kind of reflected on the fact that this is how much I've done since I left sixth form up until now. Kind of just wanna. I've got a list of things here. So these are the awards that you've won. I'm gonna list. This is probably just. This is not even enough. This is probably not nowhere near what you've probably achieved. And I kind of want you to just take this in a little bit. Okay. So in 2023, this was about how many years? 5 years after you started working when you had your first role as an apprentice. So there's a few awards, and I was looking at these and I thought, this is insane. Um, so you won an award. You were the Apprentice Champion of the Year at the National Apprenticeship Awards in 2023. You also got an award for the Royal Air Force Apprenticeship Champion of the Year, and this award specifically, I feel like is a special one because it's a category that celebrates those who passionately, champion apprenticeships, which has been so evident whilst I was speaking to you, and it's very clear that you love what you do, and you always do whatever you can to advocate for this and show people that there's other ways. There isn't just this traditional route that you have to go through. There's other ways that you can still do really well, and you are a clear example that this is possible. For someone who is probably watching this and can see themselves in your shoes, and it's something that's encouraging for them as well. Not to end there, in 2025, you were a finalist for a few other awards as well. So here's one of them: the Multicultural Apprenticeship Award in the Creative Media and Marketing category. You were also finalist in two categories at the Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire Apprenticeship Awards. There's so much more. You've also made appearances on BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Radio Derby. You've spoken on many stages. You have done so much. And I don't know if you truly understand how much of an achievement this is. I hope that you do, because just listing that in itself, I think, is incredible in the space that you're in, and the time that you've had to actually achieve all of this is something that not many people do. And I really, really hope that you do have some time to just sit and reflect on what you've accomplished, because yeah, it's a pleasure for me to sit here and speak to yourself and really get to know a little bit more about you. And like I've said, we've known each other before and we've been in the same environments as well, but now to really sit down and discuss your career and break things down in depth has been such a pleasure for me. And thank you to you for agreeing to take time out of your busy schedule, I'm sure. To be here is just, like I said, an honor. And I'm so thankful for your presence, honestly. I don't know if there's anything else that you need to say, but from me to you, thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad you've kind of made a medium where people can, raise awareness of apprenticeships and alternative paths to university, but also talk a bit about themselves and the journey that they've gone through to inspire others. I'm all about inspiring people, so if you like kind of what I have to say and you want to follow my content a bit more, do give me a follow on social media: Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and I'm sure you'll produce some more podcasts with lots of exciting guests. So I'll be sure to give you all the engagement you need, and all the comments and the likes and the reposts. So yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And just to say as well, everything that I've done, it's all testament to how amazing apprenticeships are, and also all the support I've had from my friends, from my family around me as well. None of it would be possible without that. And yeah, so yeah, thank you for having me.
So there it is, guys. That is the end of the episode. Like I've already said so many times, there's a lot that I've learned, and I really hope that one person, whoever is out there listening, if there's at least one person that learned something from this, that is enough. And that's always been the mission with being when I first started this. So I can't wait for you guys to really take in all the information. So as always, like I said, I will leave Kasim's social media handles down below. Make sure you're following him. Make sure if you need any sort of advice, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to to speak to yourselves and just get in touch. But that is it. We'll be back again with another episode and another guest. And over and out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok at B&B Podcast as well. That's the same on Instagram. And we'll be back again. So peace out.